What's going on, everybody? I'm back again with another video. Hey man, I just want to get into this Candace Owens controversy. She's been going at it back and forth with these rabbis and these, the people who shall not be named. She's been going at it with them, and I just wanted to get into this clip or a few clips and break some of this down and get y'all's thoughts and comments on it. Let's get into it.
All right, everybody, happy Tuesday. At least I'm very happy today because we've been trending all day on X, given the interview that I gave with Rabbi Bart yesterday. A lot of you guys have so many comments regarding that back and forth. And one of the questions that I have is, why do so many people think I'm going to get killed? Yeah, it's a recurring theme. People are like, be careful, Candace, double up on your security. Don't do this, don't do that. They're going to kill you. You're going to get Michael Jacksoned. Where is all of that rhetoric coming from?
I think she definitely knows where that rhetoric is coming from. So many people, or at least most people, believe that the people that speak against these people that run the music industry, certain people backing political candidates and so on and so forth, are knocking people off that go against them, who speak their names or go against the agenda. I know we all seen what Kanye West went through. I guess that's what most people are referring to.
Weird, but I kind of like Rabbi Bart because I think he's honest. I think he honestly, as I tweeted yesterday, views himself as better and more important, or at least his race as more important than other races, more significant, the history of his race as more significant. And even in terms of someone being a supremacist, if you are honestly a supremacist, at least I can appreciate that. Because you're not.
And here is that supremacist that she's talking about. I believe his name is Rabbi Bart. She sat down with him, I guess a couple days ago, and did a little podcast interviewing him on the claims that he had about her being anti-Semitic and all of the articles that he wrote about her in the past. He and another rabbi have been going at her neck lately, I guess with her stance on things that are happening with Israel and Palestine lately.
Couple of moments that you guys were shocked by, just like me, was, I guess, just the lack of definition when it comes to anti-Semitism. It mutates. Told us that over and over again. It is a definition. It is a hate that mutates, which essentially, at least the way I took it, and I think most of you took it, means that it can just be whatever they say that it is, including the term hag. I have been smeared and libeled for years, and I feel a power building in that people are getting tired of this. We are being tired of being propagandized. And that is why, for me, I feel in my soul the time is now. And people are asking, why is Candace speaking out right now? Well, the truth is I'm simply tired of being lied on. I'm a human, right? Eventually you get to a point where you say, I'm just not going to allow people to lie on my name anymore. Especially, again, as I said, when it's been happening for years. And really all I've ever done since I've had a platform is just try to show you guys the truth. I don't want to tell you what to think. I can only share with you what my experiences are and hope that it helps you develop your own ideas. Obviously, you guys know that I hit the scene in 2017 and I had a laser sharp focus on the Black community. My career began when I started making YouTube videos, really challenging the BLM narrative. I was having my own awakening in real time about the lies that the media was printing about Black people, really lies that were meant, in my viewpoint, to keep Black people down, to encourage Black people to live a life of criminality, to encourage Black people to loot and to riot their own neighborhoods in the name of some perceived social justice. I pretty immediately got hired at Turning Point USA.
So Candace is recapping how she got started in YouTube and how she became famous. She definitely went hard at the Black community. Everybody was upset, mainly, well, I would not say everybody, mainly Black people were upset, and she was kind of like the driving force at that time behind Black conservatism, even though there's always been Black conservatives. But she was a part of that new age YouTube podcast era, where we, it's just something different that we hadn't seen before, where You could just flick on the YouTube and boom, there's somebody was talking about black people. Typically before people, it's you couldn't really say much about black people without being deemed racist, but you had somebody who was actually black talking about black people, shining the light on the negativity in the community, and people did not know how to handle that. Well, mainly black people, and I guess the white liberals got on board and smeared her, but she still had the conservatives backing her. But the difference is now is she's talking about the people who back or fund the left and the right. So she's in a whole different ball game from just talking about black people. You can talk about black people, you just mainly can't talk about black women. And they'll use black men and black women for certain agendas to be pushed, but for the whole, you can get away with that. It's not like talking about these people. But let's get into the next clip.
Yeah, I agree. I actually don't have any problems at all with the word nationalism. I think that it gets the definition gets poisoned by elitists that actually want globalism. Globalism is what I don't want. So when you think about, whenever we say nationalism, the first thing people think about, at least in America, is Hitler. He was a National Socialist, but if Hitler just wanted to make Germany great and have things run well, okay, fine. The problem is that he had dreams outside of Germany. He wanted to globalize. He wanted everybody to be German, everybody to be speaking German, everybody to look a different way. That's not, to me, that's not nationalism. So in thinking about how it could go bad down the line, I don't really have an issue with nationalism. I really don't. I think that it's okay. It's important to retain your country's identity and to make sure that what's happening here, which I think is incredibly worrisome in terms of the decrease in the birth rate that we're seeing in the UK, is what you kind of want to avoid. So I don't have I have no problems with nationalism. It's globalism that I try to avoid.
And that is the clip that got her in trouble. So ever since then, her using Hitler as a point of making it about nationalism and stuff like that, they don't even like for you to even mention his name even in a somewhat good light. I wouldn't say that was a good light. It was just her using him as an example. But they've been on her since then, writing articles about her. And I guess lately she's just sick of, and she's just kind of been going back at him, which I don't think is necessarily so much of her being tired. She may have already wanted to talk about this stuff since then, but she is with the Daily Wire, and I believe she's up under Ben Shapiro and a few other people who are a part of the Jewish community. So her contract might be up pretty soon. Maybe that's what it is, and she's just like, well, I'm about to go out with a bang and become independent, or she could just be fed up. I don't know. It is very interesting to see that she is doing this at this point. But let's get into this next clip.
But something that I never shared and I want to share today was what happened thereafter. A friend of mine who I am not going to name encouraged me to visit the Simon Weisenthal Center. That's a human rights organization, human rights for Jews organization. And there was this very strange meeting that occurred. Now, I want to be clear that I didn't understand the meeting because the individuals were speaking in Hebrew. My understanding going into it was that once I spoke to this individual, things would be clarified, and then I could just go on living, and my reputation would pretty much be restored. And by golly, that's kind of what happened. So again, it was an extremely old man. I think he runs the place. I don't know. I can't remember his name, so I'm not going to make one up. But I had to sit in a meeting and explain that I didn't think Hitler was a great person, listen to two people speak Hebrew, and then my reputation was restored, or at least I was allowed to go on pursuing what I wanted to pursue, which was just talking about Black Americans and the fracturing of the Black and white relationship.
And you see, it was all good when she was talking about Black folks, throwing some white folks in there, white liberals, talk about how Black people need to clean up the community, do better, behave better, which is true. She spoke facts. She was very harsh, very critical, but she told the truth. That's not really controversial. It's only controversial amongst black people. Most everybody looks at black folks and say, yeah, y'all need to do better. And she's black, and so she can call it out without being labeled racist. And so that she was perfect for that time. She still is perfect for it now, but now she's jumped over to the people who shall not be named and said, something small about them. And they do this thing where they put you on an apology tour and they pull out the whip or the proverbial whip and chastise you into submission. They come after your finances, any gigs that you have lined up, and they will shut it down. Kanye West has experienced this firsthand. He is still complaining about it. Doesn't mention any names like he did before, but I think he lost Adidas contract at one point. And he lost his bank account. And other people like Nick Fuentes, controversial podcaster who is not on any platform, for his remarks against the people. So it was all good when she's staying in line talking about the black and the white. But once you go to that next level, which she has, they will come down on you pretty hard.
I'm going to be honest with you because everybody's noticing it. Every single political commentator in America, every single one of them knows this, that if you do not step out and say things that are radically pro-Israel, or if you are too quiet on certain narratives and they want you to be radically pro-Israel, you can lose everything. That's truth. That is a fact. I'm not feeling like I need to hide from that anymore or be afraid to say it, rather, is a better way to say it, because I've endured this for years. I'm just at the end of my rope. I have given so much rope here and I am just done with it. Every person that you are a fan of, they know this. Every person that you line up to go here speak, they know this. Again, it's not even on the basis of what you say. It can sometimes be on the basis of what you don't say. That an entire mob will assemble, they'll write piece after piece after piece until you subjugate. If you don't subjugate, the bounty grows larger. It's a very odd thing when I reflect on that. But I want to be clear that the threat that Candace, this could be over at any moment for you, don't you get out of line again by, saying something that you never actually said, but don't make us have to threaten you again. That I still always felt over me because it was just a very scary thing to go through.
And there you have it, that last clip. She hit it on the head. All political commentators or people in politics know that you have to be pro-Israel or pro these people. And I'm not saying this to be, or I wouldn't be saying this to point out every person that is a part of that community, but it's the people at the top, that are saying that you have to be this because they don't want you to go against their interest of their government. The government has things that they want to do, and them being the chosen people is imperative because you get the American people, who are largely a Christian base, I would say, that support them. We're never going to be opposed to funding them and backing them whenever something goes wrong in other countries. And they need the support of America to do that. So I think she's gaining support. Many people, if you check on X, or you just read the room, many people are starting to see it and support her and see that there is an agenda, there is a push to silence people who speak against them, and to shut them down. But that's my thoughts, that's my commentary on it. Y'all leave a comment below, and don't forget to subscribe and like, and I'll holler back at you. Peace.